I started by making the plate, and to make the base of the plate I took a piece of white clay and cut a circle, and then I made a thicker circle to go on the bottom. And now I'm just going to press, after I turned it over, I'm just going to press in with like a big ball tool, and this is going to kind of create the center of the plate. I'm just using the tool to smooth out the center, and it doesn't have to be perfect in the center. You just want to make sure that there's a large dip in the plate so it looks kind of realistic. And since the center looks so weird and bumpy, I'm going to take some white liquid clay and I'm just going to smooth it over the bottom so it has a smooth finish on the surface of the plate. And I'm just using the same ball tool to smooth it out to the edges, and it'll go on smooth. And now I'm going to use a smaller one to get around to the edges of the plate. And once you're finished smoothing, just bake the plate until it's hard and then let it cool off. To make the steak, I'm going to mix red translucent with brown, and then I'm going to make the bone using ivory colored clay, and I'm just going to create a small little piece of steak on one side, and then the bone in the center, and then another larger piece of steak on the other side, so it looks like a real kind of T-bone steak. Now I'm just going to trim the bone, and I'm going to press all of it together. And then once it's all together, I'm just going to flatten the top with like a rubber tool, and then I'm going to add some sandpaper to the top to kind of give it texture, and then I'm going to use a needle tool to kind of define where the bone is. Now I'm going to add dark brown and black chalk to the top so the steak looks like it's been cooked or grilled, and then I'm going to add a little more texture to the top with sandpaper after I finish coloring it with the chalk. To make the asparagus, I'm going to roll out a piece of translucent green clay, and I want it to be very thin so it looks like real asparagus. And then I'm going to cut little tiny pieces of it and then use my razor blade to make very small strips and then texture the tips. And now I'm going to use chalk to make the tips look darker green, like real asparagus, because the tips are usually darker and then the ends are usually a lighter green color. And now I'm just going to add the asparagus to the plate. To make the baked potato, I'm going to use ivory colored clay, and then I'm going to use dark brown and black chalk to cover the edges, and now I'm going to use a razor blade to cut it open and a toothpick to kind of texture the edges. Now I'm going to add another piece of ivory colored clay to the center, and I'm going to texture it with the end of a paintbrush and a toothpick. And now I'm going to add a pale yellow color in a square shape so it looks like a piece of butter to the top. And once you've baked the polymer clay, you can add a little bit of glaze to it so it looks realistic, and I'm adding a little bit of glaze to the butter.